There was a couple in Boston. Their names are Ina and David Steiner. Okay. And what they do for a living is they have this company where they do like e-commerce, where they help people who are interested in e-commerce get into e-commerce. Like if you're starting an e-commerce site, maybe you'll go to the Steiners and ask for advice.
Mhm.
But as an offshoot of that, they also have like a column or a newsletter, whatever they write, where they review like Etsy and eBay and Poshmark and places like that, other e-commerce sites and what works and what doesn't and why it doesn't work. So they were critical of eBay, but eBay is the big one. So they're a little tiny company saying the things about eBay they don't like. That's known as punching up.
Mhm.
It's you can punch up, but you can't punch down in this society. You know that.
I don't think this eBay thing is going to work. I here's the reasons why I think it's bad and it's flawed and it's only going to be around maybe 6 months, 7 months tops.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it lasting more than a week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the first thing that happens is, so this is what they do for a living. So David is in his garage and he's kind of, piddling around and whatever. And his neighbor's like, Dave, come here. Pulls him outside. He goes, your fence, and points to the fence. And like, there's some like dirty words scrawled, like his fence was totally tagged.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, that's weird. Kids, I don't know what that is. Whatever happened, doesn't think anything of it. Decides to like, whatever, scrub it off. And that's that. Couple of days later, their email is inundated with thousands of spam messages and newsletters. And interestingly enough, stuff about IBS. And I'd be like, oh, let me click on that. Like that interests me.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of porn stuff, which I know you'd be into.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all bad stuff. So they get inundated with all of like thousands and thousands of spam and newsletters and whatever. And they're like, that's weird. Couple more days pass and they get a call from a taxidermy place. They're in Boston. They get a call from a taxidermy place in Tennessee that's like, where would you like us to send the pig? They're like, no, you've got the wrong number and the wrong address. We don't have a pig that we're looking for taxidermied. Like, no, yeah, Steiner, David Steiner, I have your address, but I wasn't sure if it was
No,
the correct
spent 2
address.
weeks on this thing. I'm sending it to you.
Exactly. Someone needs to pay for this.
Right.
So then a couple of days later, they start getting all kinds of stuff in the mail, like everything from boxes of poop to books on grieving and how to grieve your dead wife. His wife is alive, sitting right next to him. Then the wife
But the
starts getting
pig's
all
not.
these. The pig isn't alive.
Yeah, pig's dead.
There were no books on how to grieve your dead pig. And then they start getting all of these, like the wife gets this big wreath that says R.I.P. David. So now they're really this is starting to really freak them out. And they go to the police and they start this investigation, and it ends up being a big federal investigation. And a few weeks later, they're going about their business. They've already contacted the police, and suddenly they see that they're being followed and stalked, that there's people in cars separately following them wherever they go, driving behind them, freaking them out. Finally, the feds step in and they arrest 6 people and a contractor who works for eBay. The 7 of them flew from San Francisco to Boston, stayed at a hotel near where the Steiners live, rented cars, did all of this stuff to them, have like harassed them and stalked them and terrified them for several months. And the feds caught them. That's how we know about the story, because all these people have been arrested since. So, of course, all these eBay employees have been fired. But their big boss, eBay was like, how do you not know about this? These people used company money. They weren't paying out of their pocket. They didn't. It's not like a bunch of people said, F these people, let's go after them. Somebody at eBay was paying for this. To fly 7 people from San Francisco to Boston to rent all the cars.
Expense. Who checked off on this business expense to fly this whole department to Boston?
Exactly. So eBay investigates and they find one of their big higher ups was the person who basically sanctioned this, but they couldn't prove it. And the guy, it was like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know. They let him retire and they gave him his retirement, which was $57 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason it's in the news today is because the Steiners are suing for civil. They have a civil litigation going on right now for, I mean, obviously for reasons like emotional distress and the stalking
abuse
and all this
of email.
Exactly. Right. All that stuff. So, firing the employees, great. I'm glad you did that. But now say it with cash. So that's what's in the news today. But I saw the story and I was like, wait, what? So I really did a deep dive into it because I couldn't believe this was really a thing. But isn't that weird?
Why would anybody at eBay care that somebody's going after them and saying their service sucks? They make a gazillion. I would be rich today. I would be wealthy beyond my means if it wasn't for eBay. eBay
What do you mean? Oh,
for as much money as I've spent on that stupid site over my lifetime. So the money they make off me alone, I don't think they would even consider going after somebody.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely, it's a weird story because it's like, I can't imagine that eBay has a policy that if you don't like them, if you write publicly negative things about them, they're going to stalk you. I can't imagine. I don't know. The whole thing's really weird.
It was one department and they got upset and they got together during their lunch break and said, we need to shut
let's go
this
after
down.
The Steiners.
Yeah, let's shut this down right now because we're losing tens of dollars.
Yeah.
So let's shut it down immediately.
I thought you'd appreciate that story.
I just don't know how you can. I mean, eBay has its issues, but you know what? It works, and it's always worked, and it's brilliant.
Oh, I got no problems with eBay. And in fact, my boyfriend has made a ton of money off of eBay during the pandemic. So we're huge eBay fans, both in the buying and the selling. So